Good morning, everybody. It's Saturday, and what time is it? It's time for a real estate investing field trip. And I just realized, hopefully I pulled up the right presentation. I think so. My name is Lenska, and I am your host for this field trip. You will learn a lot of things besides what is an ARV, what scenarios play out in a fix and flip, and what exit strategies you might have. And today, our subject again is fix and flip. Here's my background. I've been an investor and real estate broker for a few years. And I specialize obviously working with investors, but I also can sell $4 million homes. So if you have a referral or a friend of yours needs some help in any type of situation that has to do with investment properties, sometimes I get called after the fact and they want an opinion. Please write a review on Meetup or join my YouTube channel, Lenska Realty. And don't forget to push the like button. YouTube really ranks videos by engagement, and invite some friends to these recordings or meetings, and please share it or connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn. But wait, there's more. Obviously, behind every excellent woman, there are two other co-presenters. So today we're lucky to have Leo Clark, who is an investor, home builder, and educator. Leo, why don't you say hi?
Morning, everyone. Beautiful day out today.
So how long have we been doing those field trips, Leo?
Well, you've been doing them 12 years, and I've been following you on these field trips for almost 10 years now.
10 years, exactly. So we have been educating people and trying to tell them what is real in this business, and try to tell them that reality shows are not the real thing. But we do have a real investor and real flipper with us today who is actually doing a lot of flips in San Diego. Nick, say hello.
How's it going, guys? Excited to be here with you.
I'm great. You can join us. I know on Saturday mornings, people like to go for a jog or a Zumba class, or usually I have a tennis match scheduled at 8 a.m., but I'm happy to give it up for you. And not only do we have these high-powered investors with us, because what's the next question if we're doing a fix and flip? The next question is, where do we get the money? And there are various ways, obviously, to get money, but I'm excited that Rob Parsley, are you with us?
I am. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and tell us what you do, and take about 5 minutes to introduce you and your company, how we can get a hold of you the best. And also I'd like for you not just fix and flip, because I think you also have a rental program, right?
Yeah, so I'll start out with a little bit about the company. So the company's been around for about 15 years. We're headquartered out of Greenville, South Carolina. Myself, I'm here in San Diego. This is where I grew up, and we do lend nationwide. It's one thing that's important to recognize with Lima One is we're not just in San Diego. We're not just a local lender. We have funds and different programs that I'll speak about. So we do the fix and flip programs. We do a fix and keep program now as well. If you have a property that you want to keep the cash flows very well, we can facilitate that for you. Along the lines of keeping properties, we do the rental program. So we have single asset loans based on debt service of the property. And then a very popular program with our investors is the portfolio product, where we'll bundle a group of homes together and make one single loan. It makes it very easy for the investor to manage the financing that way and maximize cash out and pull that out and go on to different things. As well as we do multifamily investing. So just about any kind of investment property you can think of, other than, you know, commercial strip malls, those kind of things. We don't do that. And then let's talk about the kind of investors we work with. So we do everything from, hey, I've never done a fix and flip loan before. How do I get financing? You know, we'll work with that person to get them started. And then we work with very seasoned investors as well. And, you know, for a first timer, I would say the benefit with Lima One is that you get to, you know, you come to us and we'll guide you through the process. We're not going to let you sink. We have a number of different safeguards in play to make sure that your loan performs well for yourself and your project performs as well too. And then for the seasoned guys, we offer really competitive rates and programs. For you builders and contractors, we rolled out a very aggressive new construction program last couple of weeks. I'm very excited about it. We all know that new construction starts are huge right now, and I think Lima One's going to be a big player in that market.
Yeah, and I appreciate it because, you know, obviously, Leo, jump in anytime. You know, I know you do a lot of private lending, use a lot of private lenders. For me, you know, we have been around and I have seen a lot of hard money lenders, but we were really waiting for the rates to drop a little bit because I think we're all in it together. The real estate investor, the real estate agents, you know, the hard money lenders. So because it got very competitive, I always felt like, you know, the hard money lenders were making a lot of money and the investors were kind of squeezed. So I appreciate you lowering the rates, and that was, guys, we never had really a hard money lender here on my field trips, because we really want a team player, and I feel like Rob is that. Not only that, because I like that they are nationwide. So because we're going to focus, and that's just a little preview on next year, a little bit more on out-of-state finance, fix and flips and buy and holds when the time is right. So I wanted somebody that is with us all the way, besides also doing financing for, you know, the multifamily. So Rob, is all that information I have on here correct?
Yeah, I don't know what that fax number is. I probably gave that to you, but I don't have a fax number anymore. But you can certainly get me at my email address, and that phone number is correct. Thank you.
Okay, so, all right, so then, okay, good. So that is correct. The phone number is the important part, the 619-651-5187. And he's super responsive. That's another thing I like. So Rob, hopefully you can hang with us because we're going to run the whiteboard, what we call the whiteboard, the numbers on the deal. And a lot of times it is in the financing. So thank you for that.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and hopefully we have your slide. If you can't make it, I know I have your information. So now we're coming to a quick little poll. You guys I like to see who is on here. If we have newbies, 1 flip, 2 to 5 flips, or 5 and plus flips. So because if I know by the names that we have a lot of experienced people on the call, so we might bring it to a higher level. And so yes, actually, so the newbies, please speak up if we're going too fast. Or the good news is we're recording it, so you can listen to it again. Okay, so we all know the 5 steps of a fix and flip. Normally people have the 4 steps, right? The find, the finance, the fix, and flip. But you flip and then you what? Are you stopping? Or are you making a future? Or was it a failure? Or are you getting filthy rich? Or fun and making a lot of money, okay? So hopefully it all comes together. Fix and flip is a business like any other business, which means you have home runs, you have good returns, and once in a while you lose money. So I think the rate was about 1 in every 10 deals you lose money. But who am I to say that? We got 2 investors on the call. Leo, I'm calling on you. Leo and Nick, what's your, how would you rate it? Losing money in one deal or another?
Trying to unmute this damn thing. You know, it's long as you're having more winners than losers, it's all right with me.
So you have no, you don't, are you in 1 in 10 or better?
1 in 10 or better. I'm sorry, I missed the final.
Yeah, I say you lose one, you
Oh.
money in 1 out of 10 deals.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you better. Well, I mean, it depends on your volume. A guy like me that wants to do, 500 deals in the last 10 years, there's going to be some losers, but the winners are good.
Yeah,
Right,
we've all lost money on projects. In fact, you can't protect yourself from everything that's out there that could affect you in a project. So you never are 100% protected. So yes, for the new investors that are in this, if the losses come, just take it and keep moving.
But we all know, and this is for experienced investors. Now, when I talk about newbies, Nick, Leo, and I, we all totally agree that the more people lose the most money, and most of the time, because they're doing a TV commercial and attend 1 hour class, or like mine, a 3-hour class, and then go out and buy a property without being educated and without knowing all the ins and outs. So there is no school for investors, right? So we have to find our education. And
well, with all the education in the world, there's still factors out there that can affect a project where you end up losing money. Even with all the education, all the experience, everything is done to what you expected to have as a positive outcome, it could end up being a negative.
And as I like to say, you can only calculate the risk so far.
Yep.
Yeah, and by calculating is, know your stuff, and then you own it. I mean, and the reason why I'm speaking to you is because in 2007 and 8, I had it all planned out. I had 20% in my properties. I, invested throughout the United States, and then the financial crisis happened. So is it on me? No. But did I lose $500,000? Yes. Okay. So I know how it hurts, and that kind of gave me motivation to speak to you. But right now, nobody's losing money by owning real estate, because the real estate market is on fire. In September, here, the key statistics, we have a 15 to 17% increase in real estate prices. And the most increase came actually in the last 3 months. It is because we have a very low inventory. We're down over 50%. Right now they're about, actually this number is down again. We have about 1,800 detached homes for sale right now. Okay, that's practically nothing. That's less than a month. And the reason why people are buying, if you guys look at it, and it's all about the purchase power, right? So if you look in August 2018 with a certain price, 575, and an interest rate, which we had at 4.5, look at the payments, and compared to the payments in 2019, we had a lower interest rate. Price just ticked up a little bit, which means actually your mortgage payment went down. Now fast forward to August at a median home price at 650 and an interest rate 2.75. This payment dropped about $200, $300. And who knows where the whole money and economy goes. So owning a piece of dirt is probably the best thing you can do and buy and hold, if it's cash flowing, obviously. So back to the purchase power, and even on conventional 5% down or conventional 10% down, you guys can see that August 2018, that was when the Fed raised the rates, and sure enough, it dropped about 10%. So we had that little dip in August 2018. So 2019 was better. And then obviously in 2020, if you put 20% down, your payment is about $2,100. So on a medium home price. So it's still very competitive comparing to renting in San Diego. So that just sets the stage for the fix and flip, because if we are in a declining market, we need to invest and run our numbers a little bit different than we run them in a, I would say, stable or uptick high demand market. So the 5 most profitable, if you had joined us last month, we talked about, you know, analyzing a city or a neighborhood. And I want to keep it general because you might not want to just necessarily invest in San Diego, right? So we're looking at obviously the median home price trend, days on market, price per square foot, sales price versus list price, pendings, actives, type of inventory, and obviously the solds. So just to give you an example, here's the median sales price detached, the bottom performing markets. It's University City, Solana Beach, Imperial Beach, and Rancho Santa Fe. So it takes about 2 to 3 years to sell a house in these areas. And that is driven by price, and also Rancho Santa Fe, I just know that there's a lot of inventory. Now, Imperial Beach really shocked me, but it could be that there is maybe some vacation rental ordinance coming down or something. So, and don't forget all the new things we have on the ballots in regards to real estate, and nobody's talking about what Governor Newsom just signed, that I think it's 1076, that gives nonprofit and tenants the first right to purchase a lender-owned property. So there's lots of stuff. So the answer's in the numbers. So if you look at it, in September 2020, so we had new listings. We had only 18, that should be much higher. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that is monthly. We need to look at year to date, sorry. So right now we have 152 closed sales, but we have new listings, 353. So there is a lot of inventory in Rancho Santa Fe. And prices are not going anywhere in Rancho Santa Fe. So just by looking at the numbers, you know, why would if I do a fix and flip there, then I need to calculate on 88 days. So that's about 3 months, right, to sell the house. All right, so we had that poll already. So here's just the general numbers that actually the home flipping trends, that the home flipping rate, which is on the left side, is actually slightly down, but the profits, and we're talking about gross profits between selling and buying, which is obviously not an accurate number, but it tells me one thing, that it must be that the properties all need much more work. And that's probably typical. So here are the best towns. So if you want to pack up and leave California, like so many at the moment, so maybe you want to go to Fort Collins, Johnson City, Cedar Rapids, Youngstown, or Chattanooga, definitely do not go to Corpus Christi, Texas, Tallahassee, Fort Myers, Salisbury, and Kennewick, wherever that might be. So, and you guys know, for me, I like long romantic walks to the bank. And it has done fix and flip really well for me. And everybody calculates the rehab cost a little bit different. Well, we have Leo on the line to give us a little bit of a shortcut today on how to come up quickly with a number when walking through a property. Leo, are you with us?
I'm with you, always.
Take it away.
Well, there's several things, and this isn't really for a person like Nick, because Nick does his things differently than I do my estimations. So his estimations are kind of calculated different than mine. But years ago, when I was flipping a lot of homes, I wanted to figure out a way to walk a property, be able to view the property, and put a number to it for the rehab costs as quickly as possible, a somewhat of a base point to start with. So the one thing we always do before going into a home, or before basically buying the house itself really, is get the inspections. When we're out and about in the field trip on Lenska's field trips, we're always looking at homes that may need a lot of work, may need a little work, but you always get an inspection no matter how they look, because you want to find the stuff that you don't know about. And then once you've got your home inspection, and then you get your termite inspection, then you get possibly a sewer inspection, you may need a foundation inspection or a slab inspection. As a beginner, as a new investor, someone like Nick or myself, we are the inspector. So when we walk our properties, we understand exactly what we're looking for, so we are the inspector. But for new investors, always get a home inspection, termite inspection, and possibly a sewer, as well as if you've got slab and foundation issues, those are always a must as well. And then once you've got all your inspections and you've done your property walk and you've done your own inspection of what you want to do to the home, I always assigned it a level. And I always signed it one of 6 levels. And most of the time I was pretty darn accurate, because once you've walked enough properties, and like you heard Nick say, 500, if you've done 500 properties, you were in 3 times that many or more. So you see enough properties, you begin to understand truly what something costs, because you've seen them, you've done them, so you kind of get an idea truly right where you're going to land with your rehab budget. So those 6 levels that I'm looking to assign a property are light rehab, medium light, medium heavy, heavy, and extreme. Those are my 6 levels. Nick may have his, but these are mine. And for the most part, I'm looking at it from a standing point of, what am I competing with? What's my ARV? What's on the market right now? What's pending? Who's done what to a home? Because when you start looking at the homes today, totally different than when I started or Nick started, because we started in the era of the REOs. We started way back when there were thousands of properties, most of them beat up very badly, and then most of them were at a very low price, extremely low price. My very first purchase was $85,000. I mean, the $85,000 home almost 11 years ago in California was kind of unheard of, but it was there, and there were a lot of them. So yes, I'm walking the property, I get my inspections done, I wrap my arms around everything that I've got, knowing the condition of the home, and instantly I give it a level. And then after I give it a level, I got to figure out, well, what am I going to spend? How much money am I going to put into this for the rehab? So I got to assign it a dollar amount per level. So each of those 6 levels, if you take a 2,000 square foot home, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 2 car garage, single story, that was our basic home right there for years. In my light rehab, I would assign it a $28 per square foot amount. So you take $28 times 2,000 square feet. If it is a light rehab, you're at 28,000. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You're at 56,000 for a rehab. So from that standing point, each level goes up. And my next level, which basically is the medium light, is a $28 to $33 per square foot level. Now there's a spread there, and that spread, 28 to the 33, $5, is based on the neighborhood, based on what I have to do to this home. If you're going to be in a nice neighborhood, you're not going to put a $50 sink faucet in it if it's a neighborhood that, you know, calls for $100 faucets. So you really got to be aware. And then it moves up from 33 to 38. And then it moves up again from 38 to 43. And then it moves up one more time, 43 to 50. And then the extreme is 50 to 75. And the 5 and the 6 level is kind of where we are at today. You're not going to find a home today where you're just going to do paint and carpet. Very seldom would you ever find something like that. Today, you're literally looking at either adding square footage, changing designs, possibly building an ADU, full gut rehab. I mean, there's what we call value adds in almost every property today. And for the most part, most rehabbers are at those levels. So from the standpoint of what type of properties are out there today, for the majority, it's going to require a heavy to extreme rehab. So when you take those numbers, you multiply that into the 2,000 square feet, you know, you're going to be a 6-figure rehab. So today's market requires all of us to do a higher level of a rehab, because that's what's going on and that's what the buyer demands. So yes, I put these together, and then off your inspections and everything that you have, you got to be able to put it in very quickly, put it into a bundle and figure out where your rehab is, because you've got to make that offer very quickly in today's market. If you're not looking at a property and turning around and making an offer either on site or over the phone, you'll probably miss out, because like Lenska showed, very little inventory and properties move very fast. And Nick will cover a little bit about how he found what he's going to show today, but you've got to move quickly in this market, extremely quickly.
Yeah, and I want to add to, you know, thanks for mentioning the inspections, Leo. And I put that slide in there because I want people to know these are the inspections. And since all the new buzzword is people are moving from urban to suburban, so your property survey is probably also very important, which the property lines will be insured by the title insurance. So it's important, because suddenly you want a pool and you're putting that pool in and it might be too close to this, or if it's even has a septic tank, you can't put a pool over the septic. So you need to know if it is on sewer or septic to begin with. So, you know, so that's why I said if you go into suburban areas, property survey, which we added to the other important inspections.
I'm going to quickly add to that property survey line, and we don't have time to talk about it today, but I did do a presentation in the North County Investors Group how I bought a house that was literally in the middle of the property line. So half my house was on the neighbor's property, and that was a total circus. And so having that,
I remember that.
Oh yeah, and Leo was actually there to help. So Leo, this list that you've got is extremely valuable, and take it from the losses that I had on that one. It's worth it.
Now, was it suburban, was it in the county of San Diego?
City of Poway, I think.
Poway, yeah, it was in Poway. In fact, it was almost in the heart of Poway.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes just because a fence is there doesn't mean that that is the property line, right? So sometimes, so with this entire presentations and throughout my 12 years, you know, I've been trying to teach people not to trust anything and to be very questionable, practically be Inspector Clouseau with having a clue about your property, and really investigate the property to the best to your knowledge. Will there be surprises? Yeah, actually, one of my clients got a brand new house built, and it's on septic, and the plumber hooked up the new septic to the old septic line. So they had SHIT coming up the toilets in the brand new house because obviously it wasn't going anywhere. So you can see even in new constructions, shit happens. It's my recording, I can say it. All right, so besides picking the city and neighborhood, what are the other ones? So the other best ones, it's obviously buying direct. And the third one would be problem houses. So problem houses are the ones we had we introduced last presentation, the code violations. That's always a good one. Houses with structural issues and houses with personal issues, right? Which could be hoarder, or it could be, other drug problems, or maybe even neighbor issues, okay? Where you have hoarders left and right. And so if you rehab the one in the middle, would that make a good property? Because people don't want to live next to hoarders. So, and then we obviously have, and here in California, unfortunately, we have to say, fire damaged houses are becoming more frequent. And fire damage is pretty devastating. And so how to take the heat of selling a house with fire damage. So, and we have a case study in Spring Valley. And before I hand it over to Nick, we're just going quick through the numbers, how, we started to look at this right here, January 2020, the orange line is Spring Valley, the blue line is San Diego County. I'd like to always compare the two. So you could see that Spring Valley actually started to wake up earlier than San Diego County overall. So, and when you bought a house in January in 2020, you had about a 10% increase in value. We'll come back to that, okay? So here we are, average price per square foot. So in Spring Valley, it sells about $338 in June. And the reason why I'm doing June, because, Nick sold his in June, so that's why I'm relying on. So it's $338 average, and when we say average, it's about a 1,300 or 1,200 square foot house with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. And if you have been a long time with me, you know the larger the square foot, the lower the price per square foot it is. And in San Diego right now, we're around $417. So you can see the difference in price per square foot, okay? Now, unfortunately, remember I told you that this service I'm using, they're kind of broken at the moment. So this line is not quite correct. There are houses for sale, maybe only 3 in Spring Valley, but there are. But you guys can see from like 2000, even 2019, right here, January, how, I mean, there's literally no inventory. So there were, in August, there were 22 for sale, where in January, were 52 for sale.
January this year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, it's, I mean, when we were there in January, I'll show the comps later. I mean, in his area, there was only one for sale. So 10 days on market, practically Spring Valley is selling faster than the average in San Diego. So looking at the numbers, would I do a fix and flip in that zip code? Oh yeah. I mean, we know San Diego is hot, but don't forget, when you investigate other cities, you need to look at those numbers. And remember, even real estate has a K recovery, okay? So we have the luxury vacation rental, the luxury second home doing really well. We have San Diego doing well, but then we got New York urban or LA urban not doing well. So right now, it's even more important than real estate is location, location, location. Okay. So I'm going to turn it over to Nick. I'm going to operate the slide. So you guys, if you hear next slide, so that's, I think it is easier. So it is a flip in Spring Valley, a submarket of San Diego. So Nick, take it away.
You want me to start with a dance?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
You have to do your little cowboy shuffle.
Hey, Ray, you know me, man. I'll get the cowboy boots out. So I'll just quickly give you my my background. I've been flipping properties for the last little over 10 years. I flipped about 500 properties here in San Diego, California. I've done, you know, duplexes, condos, fourplexes. I've bought and hold properties. I've done some hard money loans. I've syndicated and purchased properties out of state. And, you know, this time last year, I'd have anywhere from 15 to 25 house flips going on at any given point all over San Diego. Now I'm really heavily focused on apartment flipping and holding. And the most thing that makes me passionate is my coaching. So I do coaching as well. That's a quick background on me, and let's talk about this property in Spring Valley.
Nick, before you go, how did you get started? Did you wake up one day and found a hammer and?
Yeah, yeah, great question. So I actually was, my father was a realtor and investor. My grandfather, my uncles, family was in the real estate game, and I remember collecting rent checks. My dad was knocking on doors at 8 years old. And I just remember, boy, Dad goes and knocks on random people's doors and people give him money. That's exactly what I'd like to do when I'm older. So that kind of kick-started it. And, you know, from there, I just, you know, nothing was handed to me. I hustled and mowed lawns in high school and middle school and washed cars and shoveled horse manure and did, I'm telling you, everything and anything I could to save up money. And I bought my first property at 19. It went terrible, but I learned a lot. And, you know, just kept rolling it in. So that's how I got started.
Perfect. All right. So tell us about your property.
Okay. So this property is in Spring Valley, California. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Let's see, 2,400 square feet, 2-car garage, built in '87, and it has an HOA. HOA, for anyone that doesn't know, stands for Homeowners Association. Basically, you can think of it like a manager of the community, right? They allow you to paint certain, you know, things, certain colors. They like landscape a certain way, and they just want to make sure that it has a uniform look to the property. Let's see, next slide. So how did we find the deal? So, you know, I'm always talking about MLS, and I've joined groups around the country, and everybody always says, boy, there's no deals on the MLS. There's never good deals on the MLS. And my answer to them is they're just not working or looking hard enough. So this property was on the MLS, and it was fire burned, and it went on once. And then I think if you go to the next slide.
Yeah, so let me point out. So
jump in wherever you want.
It was listed in 2017, right?
Yep.
So, and it was a short sale at that point.
Yes.
Okay. So obviously it didn't have any, I mean, it was listed for 100,000. So I don't think that was maybe a serious listing or something, because right. Even in 2017, it should have moved. Okay. Right. So then it got relisted in December. Yep,
exactly. So it got relisted in December, and we actually got a hold of the property owner directly. Funny enough, we just started to test out some mailers. And the mailer got in contact with the seller, but we actually got a hold of the last previous listing agent, and he didn't have any luck and practically just passed the owner's information on to us, and mentioned that he was just, it was a very, very difficult transaction. And so, you know, he went and listed it with another broker, and, you know, as you can see, it's listed for $399, and there's a couple of reasons why the seller decided to choose our offer. And a couple of things are this. There was a lot of lowball offers on there. Obviously, our experience is it helps, 500 deals plus. But we'd really like to let the seller and the broker know that we do what we say we're going to do. We have integrity, and we might not be the highest offer always, but we want to convey that we're honest. We want to work with the seller, and honest, we did actually meet the seller multiple times. And I'll tell you, that was a big, helpful, thing that we did with the sellers. They believed that we did and said what we were going to do. Whereas a lot of other people were kind of playing a lot of games with them, and they didn't have that from us. So, every time we just, thought we'd work with them or told them what we would do it. For example, the seller needed to have some funds up front to help for closing, and nobody else was willing to do that. And you can do that with fire properties or any property. You can give, if it's a short sale, you can give cash to the seller for materials of the house, as long as the bank, of course, proves it. So
interesting enough. So when you look here, you said 50% of home was burned down.
Yeah.
Right? So then, but that's the listing. But then this one just says investor dream, 4-bedroom with a lot of potential. So there's no word from burned down. So.
Right.
At which point did you find out that the house is burned down?
We didn't find out until we went out to the property. And as you'll see in some of the, when you see some of these photos, here they are here. This is the the exterior doesn't look too terrible. But as you start to get into the inside of the house, when they say burned down, they really left that out the second listing, because this thing had fire damage everywhere. And the soot that was caked all over all the furniture. To give you an example, the seller was still living in the house and did for a couple of years. So, without getting into too much detail, you can only imagine the type of person we were working with. It was challenging. So it took a special delivery approach, a special touch. That's a hole right directly into the center of the house. So it almost looked like, as Lenska put here before, is it number one? Is it a roof? Is it a skylight or a third story?
No, that's the fireman punching through the roof to put the fire out. Yeah,
and that's what it was exactly. So the skylight was a really kind of a funny joke. But yeah, this house was a ton of work. And so, as you can see, it was very challenging to try and get the seller on board and trusting us. He went through 2 different agents. The agent heard that we do have integrity. We closed it. We said what we were going to do.
But even so, the property, and I'm going back, so it said canceled.
Right.
So
we hit everything, right? So
yeah.
My system is pretty simple. If there's a house that's on the MLS and it has the slightest bad photo or description, we have an offer on it. And that could be active, pending. It could be sold. I don't care. It could be canceled, right? All of those areas we like to hit up, because, again, even if a property sells to another person, another investor, we want to let them know that we're interested in a property just like that. So every property that has been on the market or is off the market for whatever reason, make an offer. Send your offer terms. Send your proof of funds. Send your deposit, your copy of your deposit check.
And here's my 5 cents to being a competitive market and how to milk every strategy. So a lot of investors are very much set on using their escrow company.
Right.
Me personally, I could not wait for meeting a new escrow officer and show how quickly I can close and how easy I'm to work with, because guess what? If one of their transactions falls out in escrow and the agent is saying, oh my God, who can we call that closes it in 7 days? Then that escrow officer will say, oh, well, I had this Nick from Sterling. He closed in 7 days, was easy to work with, and maybe send me some flowers. So guess who they will call? So spread the love and spread the networking. So
right.
Now you guys, remember what level you would assign to this rehab? Level of rehab. So is it It only can be a 4, 5, or 6.
Can only be
Where's the 10 at?
Okay.
Yeah, and Lenska, you bring up a good point. I reminded me, one of the other reasons why the seller did go with us is we do work with a lot of the same escrow and title companies, and simple things like just because we do have a lot of volume under our belt, we get preferred investor rates. And so our escrow fees are much cheaper. In this case, they were going to be 4 or 5 times cheaper than what they had originally had. So when, what they had it, in budget. So when we met the seller, we showed them, hey, not only are we going to give you a fast cash offer and help you out in a lot of other ways, but we're going to save you money too.
Yeah, and when you make those offers right now, even not on the investor level, but on the end buyer level, people getting creative with escalation clauses, with letting the seller stay 5 days for free until they move out, and all that stuff. So I think we are now going to talk about, we're talking about the scope of work.
Okay.
And so take us through. This already looks a little bit better. That was just after 2 weeks you be there, right?
That's the bottom level.
Yeah, that's the bottom level. And you're right. It did look a lot better after we did a simple demo. Right? But one of the things that's very important for, I don't care if you're flipping 1 house or 500, is just having a good system in place that's going to help you with less management. And so when we build out our scope of works, we really like to put everything in there. As you can see where it says the paint colors, it's polar bear white, it's bear semi-gloss, that goes on the doors and trims. And then it even gives you the product code on the right-hand side, 1875. Same thing with the interior walls, light blue. We give them the product code on that. SKU numbers and photos as well also help. So if you look at that door, the picture of the door, just above it, it says replace all interior doors with Cheyenne pre-hung doors from Home Depot. You'd be surprised on how many times people can mess that up. They just aren't paying attention. And attention to detail is just missed. So there's that. Let's just see what the next slide is. I think there's some more. Kitchen, right? You talk about recessed lighting and 5 lights, 1 over the sink. You got 42-inch upper cabinets, gray shaker, H cabinet. We give them the supplier of who we like to use. Adding garbage disposal, and we give the price. And the price is important because, contractors, they do a good job at what they do, but we all need help, right? So if I know exactly what I want and I know exactly what sells perfect for that neighborhood and gets you top dollar, throw the price in there, because if it lightens up their load for figuring out what they're going to give you a bid on it for, all the power goes to you, and it just helps you get the better price. And, it helps everyone. Everyone likes working with someone that anticipates that other person's needs, right?
Yeah. And and it's good to give it to the contractor. So I see little notes here, keep the layout the same, right? So you probably have more instructions for the contractor.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Next slide. So here's some more photos of the interior after the demo. But again, if you look over to the a sample of the scope of work, you'll see tile floors, middle accent wall. You can give all the description again of what it is you want that bathroom to look like. And if you have a photo of what you want it to look like, boy, it really just, you can't screw it up. And if you do, after you give a detailed description and a photo, it's probably not the right guy for the job.
No doubt.
Yeah. And it makes receiving bids easier. So I think, what were the rehab challenges? And let's do a poll first, because after seeing what Nick's or what the look is going to be, so what do you think is hopefully I might have not changed it, so we might have to improvise here, because I didn't stop sharing results.
And so you guys will, as we're going through this, I think the 2 things we wanted to help you guys with is helping you come up with your own renovation number and your own ARV, after repair value. Not just letting me talk or Lenska or Leo talk. you know, I want you guys to learn something so you guys can apply these to a property you might want to do.
So I think it's a good time now to maybe pause and have you guys unmute yourself, and what questions come to your mind right now?
Hi, it's Peter, and I wondered if there were any special hazmat type challenges to this flip because of the fire, any regulatory or extra inspection or regulatory issues that you had to deal with, or did you just clean it out and go normal?
Yeah, good question, Peter. It's amazing because there's really not that many guidelines for when it comes to fire restoration. I mean, we spent, I can't tell you how many teeth we tried to pull with the city, with the county fire marshal on getting, you know, their process or inspection process of what they require. And, you know, it really comes down to just if you're going to be needing a permit to removing some sort of, you know, if you need a regular permit for anything, you know, a water heater, replacing a structural wall, then we would need to do that, right? But as far as fire damage, and I've done a few of them, you take out what's burned, and if there's and I don't know the exact percentages, my project manager would know better, but you know, you've got to sand down, you've got to take out the old stuff, and if something's 20% or more damage, you've got to replace it. And I think it was about 30, but we just went down another 10% just to be on the safe side. So for example, if you've got a, you know, a 2x6 beam and, you know, 20% of it was damaged from fire burn, we'd replace it. And if it wasn't, then we'd sand it down, and then you'd have to, you know, put some sort of like kills paint over it. And then we would do that again. And then we pull permits for the necessary items, but there wasn't really much when it comes to the fire damage stuff, which is kind of scary, because if you don't get that smoke out properly, you know, summer comes around, you've buttoned that house up, and then all of a sudden you've got a homeowner that's smelling some smoke that you didn't correctly fix. Boy, you've got a big problem on your hands.
Did you have to replace electrical because of the fire?
Yes.
So you reran all new electrical?
I don't know if we reran all the electrical, but definitely for the areas that were toasted, right? You know, for lack of better words, absolutely.
Because you should explain most of the damage was upstairs.
And you're right, Leo. That's a good point. So a lot of the damage was upstairs, and there was a tremendous amount of smoke damage. But yeah, so a lot of it was upstairs. So that's what I was saying. Not all the plumbing, electrical was were replaced, but
I remember when we were walking it that one Saturday, and you were kind of talking about your budget. How close did you come to what the budget you set in comparison to what it ended up being?
Well, we're going to go over their numbers in a little bit, but to say the least, we really knocked it out of the park. I'll wait for Lenska's final, you know, slide.
Yeah. My question was, when, you know, I think downstairs the kitchen looked worse. You would have removed the kitchen cabinets anyway. So how much drywall did you replace? Upstairs, you did all new drywall.
Yeah, all new drywall. I'd probably say about, honestly, 50%, maybe 60% of the house, we replaced all the drywall.
So which is actually not too bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Again, as you guys saw the photos, after we demoed a lot of the property out, it wasn't as bad, you know. And like I said, we were gonna, like Lenska said, we're gonna replace the, you know, kitchens, bathrooms, carpet paint, landscape is our deal, right? So once you take all of that out, you know, it takes away a lot of what looks really, really bad. And that's great for you as a buyer, as an investor, if you can, you know, make it look how it needs to be for that better price.
I think we all should be asking people now, and I don't have a poll, but please type in the chat first of all, what was the rehab budget you think? And also, how much did Nick buy the house for? I don't think we ever said that, right?
No.
You didn't show the sale price or the buy price.
So I think we're getting there, aren't we, Lenska? I didn't put the
Oh yeah, but I want to hear. I mean, so
okay.
People have seen so I'm going to call, is Thomas still on the line?
Nope.
Oh,
Hi. That's not Thomas. It's his wife.
yeah, I know you guys are a team. So,
Yes, Thomas is not here, but yeah, I'm
I
here.
know
I'm
you.
Nadia. Hi.
Yeah, I know you're remodeling your condo. So what would you put the rehab budget after seeing the fire damage and you heard what needed to be done? What's your best guess how much it would cost?
I have no idea.
Oh, good. Now then you need more.
Education.
How about Eric? Oh, no, you're Eric. Yeah, no.
I
Who do we
don't
call
know the answer.
maybe
I was trying to
Bruce?
say, I know the answer. I
No,
can say
yeah,
it.
be quiet.
Okay.
How about
Ray's gonna-
Bruce?
But
Shout it out, Ray. Go ahead.
yeah, what I'd like to see, can you hear me? I don't see if my thing is
Yeah,
going
you're
on.
good.
You can hear me. So the first thing I want to know is what's the comps in the neighborhood? Therefore, what is the sale price? Therefore, next is what indeed, after walking it and doing the checklist, is actually going to be the rehab cost. And therefore, now we know what we can offer. And share that with the seller and say, hey, this is the number it needs to be, because this is what's got to be put into it. This is what the comps are in the neighborhood. These are the numbers. Are you willing to do it at that number? Then we'll take it. And
Ray, are you looking
Pump
for
up.
Ray, are you looking for a job? Because I do this thing called coaching, and I need some guys on my side like you.
Yeah. I mean, I even wanted to go back to the other issue of, and then I do like this project. This is kind of a cool project, but if I can go back for just 2 seconds, it's all a numbers game.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, it's like to invest in 3 or 4 shops like you, Nick.
Yep.
And if I invest in 3 or 4 shops like you, and then on this one, I've met Jesse and Leo. So if I invest in all 3 of you guys, each one of you have hits and misses, wins and loses.
Sure.
So from a sophisticated point of view, you know there were going to be losses. You know that going in. So how many losses can I absorb based on how much money I'm putting out across 3 or 4 shops like you, Leo, and Jesse, right?
Yeah.
So even if it's one player and some person is going to say, gee, I want to get into this fix and flip business, you have to go in saying, well, if I do 5 a year, I can lose 2, break even on 1, make on the remaining. Will I, in the end, break even? But certainly don't do 1 by yourself. Partner with Nick, partner with Leo, partner with Jesse to get it started.
Sure.
And then now, once we're comfortable and we see how all this gets done, then we can go ahead after we take the training wheels off and start doing it ourselves.
Damn good point, Ray and Lenska. Let's go over those. What is that ARV then?
Yeah, here we are. With Ray is thinking like the rest of us. So
Yeah.
obviously, yes, but still, a burnt down house has a certain construction cost and rehab budget, regardless what, obviously regardless what the ARV is and does it make sense. But in order to come up with an offer price, yes. But an offer price, sometimes it's also different than really what the value is of the house. So here we are. We look, when we do the ARV, we look at active pending, sold 3 to 6 months, 1 mile radius, bed and bath count, 20% plus minus the living square footage. And then we take into consideration garages, pool, lot size, HOA, a view maybe, but this is where investors get carried away. I always say, oh, but my house has a view, therefore it should selling for 50,000 more. Wrong. A view in Spring Valley, and depends on where you are, is worth maybe $10,000 or $15,000. But we're talking Dictionary Hill, where you can see down to the Mexican border. So that house actually didn't have a view. So when we were there in January, these were the comps we pulled. So look, there was one house that was for sale, and it was at 579, had like 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, very similar square footage. But these were the pendings. So we saw Greenleaf was pending San Bernardino, Jersey. So not a lot of pendings. We had 3 pendings, okay? But we were coming off what season? The down season, the winter season, where usually prices drop a little bit and less activity is. So therefore you are not coming off the spring comps, and here are the souls. So I shortcut a little bit. So when we were there in January, we put the ARV at about 565 in January. That is just what the numbers were telling us, okay? So, and as a prudent investor, that's the number you need to, could you make a point in front of the seller and saying, you know what, your average house in the area sells for 525? You can, or medium is also 525. This one with the 4-bedroom, this was a custom house, so that is something, this was not a comp, but I left it in there just to show where the majority of sales were in Spring Valley, because just because you rehab and put golden faucets in there and you spend a lot of money doesn't mean it fits the neighborhood, because each neighborhood is capped at a certain price point, right? Because if I can afford a $700,000 house, would I move to Spring Valley or would I move to La Mesa? Right, so you can answer that for yourself. So now remember I mentioned the green leaf that was pending right here, and was pending, and the list price, oh no, that was when they bought it. That's not the same green leaf then. I thought there was another house that showed pending, because the pendings are going, it's very important to look at the pendings, because the pendings are becoming your souls by the time you are done. So 6 months later, and that's why the close date, I tried to find close dates between March and April. But what happened this year between March 15th and May 31st? What happened?
Flag Day.
Huh?
Flag Day.
Flag Day?
Yeah, we have Memorial Day too. We had Cinco de Mayo. We had Cinco de Mayo.
That was it. There it is.
Easter, my birthday, anything was happening. And then there was a little thing like COVID-19 in between.
What?
So we had very few comps, but now digging a little deeper, but look, these numbers, don't they look much better even in March, close of escrow? Obviously, these were closed just before the majority of the crisis happened. So as you guys can see, look, list price 570, sold for 580. 580, sold for 585. This one got bid up to 590. And then this one, top of the price. This one right at list price, and then that was right there that was the only one, and that is actually the closest comp. And that was also a rehab, because remember it showed up as 331 on, is everybody following me? That showed up right here, Greenleaf. They bought that property for 339. So Nick, what happened? Why didn't you buy this one?
I don't know.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you. Too many deals in the hopper.
Yeah. All right. So that's where we are. So now suddenly, if I would have been the listing agent, I would have said, okay, let's list it for $599. Okay. So, but we had that little thing like COVID happen. So would you have listed it maybe a little bit lower to attract more traffic, right? So, but Ray, does that answer your question to the comp?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would be doing. I have spreadsheets like this up to wazoo. I'm a spreadsheet guy like you wouldn't believe. So that's the first thing I do, is do an analysis of an area, get all the numbers, look at it all different ways, and then settle on, this is what I think it can be sold for. That's the first thing that has to happen.
Yeah. So
And then you go in and say, okay, let's see what the work is here that needs to be done. And like you said, we either gold plate this thing or we don't. And you know, keep it as inexpensively as we possibly can. And if it doesn't work and the seller is going to turn around and say, no, this is my retirement, I expect $10 million for this property. And you say, I guess we're not going to be able to come to a deal here. You know?
So I assume I answered my own question what the ARV is. So I wanted you to work for it. But so this is the best comp, right? They did have it listed in a very wide range because we're dealing with COVID, but very similar square footage. I'm going to show you that actually had a pretty nice little view, but very similar master suite, the stairs going up. So this is a perfect comp. And you have 200 square foot more, which that's why that 599 and 600, you know, comes in handy. So,
and keep in mind that that comp you guys are looking at now sold and April 30th, and I bought mine in January or December, sorry. So that comp wasn't even there for me to look at that point, right?
it was.
It was?
It showed up on the pendings.
Was it the ARV though?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it takes digging, and I'm not sure you have an and we get to the numbers how you save money, but
Yep.
I have, every time I do a field trip to somebody's house, right? Leo, who did we, or Jesse, last field trip, please listen to last month if you haven't. Jesse got all excited. He actually jumped off the call because we told him he could get about $50,000 or $60,000 more by doing a certain thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So quite often we help people when we do those field trips to come up with a better ARV. So talk us through here. What are we seeing, Nick?
This is the living room, and we, as you can see, definitely put a lot of money into it. But yeah, basically, this is the product that we normally go with all of our properties. We tiled the fireplace, new paint, new flooring. We kept the layout downstairs similar to what it was, just to keep the cost down. And it wasn't that bad of a living space. The flow was good. There's more photos of the living room, kitchen. I'm sorry, kitchen's on the other side of that wall in the dining room. But that was just as you walk in to the front door, you go to the left, and this is what you're seeing. And then here is the master bedroom, which actually had a decent view. You can't really see it from this this photo, but when you walk out onto the patio, you get a nice view of the mountains in the background, and there's a lake over there as well. Bathroom turned out really nice.
Yeah, I love the bathroom.
Yeah, this bathroom was really
Pictures.
cool. Yeah, I don't know if you have any more photos of the actual like tile that we used near the tub and the shower, but we changed the design a little bit on this one. Like Leo was saying with his rehab calculator estimates, you know, if you're going to go with a higher product or a higher price point, you know, beef it up a little bit. And so, you know, increasing it from granite countertops to quartz, you know, really helps. And getting your color, your cool tones versus your warm tones, but knowing how to blend that with accent colors, you know, it really helps, you know, the emotions drive up when a family walks in there. We use the 42-inch shaker cabinets, self-closing hinges, stainless steel appliances. Again, flooring, same color, but again, it's nice and light. It's easy to, you know, look at, and it just feels bigger than it is with those lighter, cooler tones.
Just a quickie, Nick. You got a designer that's doing this for you? Who's picking all these colors and textures?
Like Leo kind of said, we're the project managers, the designers, and everything.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So you got that skill set?
Yeah, you know, honestly, this product here has just been a something that we've done over the years, and we've kind of changed as we go. And like we all agree, the numbers tell a story. And so one thing I'm really passionate about is trying to figure out what is it that buyers like and what is it that buyers don't like, right? And so, you know, most realtors won't ask, hey, why don't you like the property? Well, I'd like to know that, because if there's something that we can change, well, let's do it. So over the years, we've just consistently asked, you know, those questions. So you can't change what you can't measure, and we measure.
That's great, though. It's good that you have the skill set to know what colors and
there's
textures.
another additive too that he didn't talk about. When you do a lot of properties, you know what's selling.
Yeah. Eventually, you just walk in, you instantly know.
You know instantly exactly what items are going in. So when he talked about SKU numbers on his scope of work, I do the same. So you're not reinventing the wheel. You're selling this house in these tones and these colors and these shaker cabinets. Were probably done in his other flips, you know, a couple of weeks before this.
And I'll tell you another thing that's interesting. This product that we use, meaning the paint colors, the flooring, the cabinets, the bathroom fixtures, etc. You could sell this in a $400,000 property, and you can sell this in a $900,000 property.
Yep.
And it really isn't that big of a difference. The quality is still really good. And it just helps with the system, right? With the flow. You're not trying to hand pick and custom paint every single house. That just takes a lot of time. And it's a great product. Again, do one house or a 500, and this product sells really well.
The color texture versus hardware is a big issue. You upgrade that hardware, and you start getting yourself into trouble.
Totally. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
So now it's time for deal or no deal. So this is what Ray wanted to do. We're looking at those numbers: purchase price minus closing cost. Plus closing cost, financing cost, rehab cost, and holding cost, selling cost, all in. So we have our ARV minus all in. That should equal our profit. But profit is not created equal, because everybody, like already Leo and Nick told us, everybody is this. So here is the big thing. So Nick got that property for $155,000. Please explain yourself.
Yeah.
You know, we're good at what we do.
Did you partner with the guy?
Yeah, his name is Nick. Hi.
No. But who the seller, the actual original seller? Yeah. Did you partner with him, or did you just give him cash and say thank you very much?
No, we just gave him cash. You know, yeah. He was a nice guy. It's a tough situation. He had a lot of health issues, but he did need help with, moving out. And again, and kind of bringing it back just for a second. We helped him find a place. I mean, we had a person specifically helping him find exactly where he wanted to be. It was very specific. He had a lot of wants, a lot of needs. And so again, those things really meant a lot to him. And a lot of people weren't willing to do that. It was just, here's the money, take it or leave it. And we just weren't doing that.
That's great. You sat down with him and said, how can we help you through this process?
And that's kind of what, seek to understand, then to be understood. So,
that's great.
You got to really think of the customer.
So I'm going to exit the slide, because I'm probably going to make some corrections to the slides. And I think everybody can still see the slide. It's big enough. And I'm going to, that was too much. I'm trying to maximize it. So Nick, then this number down here, the pad, what we call extra selling costs. So what can I put in? What was your expense with helping the seller find a new place and paying a couple of rent payments?
You can put 20,000 in there.
Okay, so I put 20,000. Let's put 25 because then it's easy for me to have all in. Is 70, and so we have then 210. So hopefully Rob is waking up. Hopefully is back in his office. And so we have the purchase price, amazing, $155,000. Yeah. And so we always have closing costs about 1 or 2%. When it's a low low number like this, it's probably more like 2%. So put 2,000 in. So these are numbers, that's my best estimate. So now we're coming to financing cost. Rob?
Yes.
So what are your current rates? And I can, so let's not talk about Nick, let's talk about a newbie or, you know, a beginner investor. What program, right now I put in 10 months at 12%. So if I see a property like this, I know we have a hot market, but I would put in 10% because there will be delays, okay? So what would be your financing right now? Run us through the numbers. Everybody has a calculator? Okay, go.
If it's a brand new first-time flipper, they can expect to pay 10.99 on their rate for 12 months.
Okay.
Now, if they've done one, or if they come to the table with somebody that's experienced, that rate drops pretty considerable. So a person that's done one flip is going to get 9.5, and their cost is 2.25.
Okay, so we have points. All right, so I'm calculating. So what would be if we purchase this at 155,000? How much would you lend on?
So we're going to do up to 75% of the total cost.
Okay, so times 25 minus. So
We're
we're
talking cost or ARV?
Total cost.
Okay.
Well,
There's going to be a budget there too.
total cost on purchase or total cost completed?
Total cost of the purchase and the budget.
And the budget.
okay. So all right.
Loan to value. Total.
Yeah. So we're talking about 255,000
Correct.
Yeah.
times. So you're lending on 191,250.
Sounds right.
Okay, so then we got, and I like to just keep the 10 months here. So can you give me the points and the interest rate in one lump sum, please?
So you're going to do, your loan amount is how much?
191,250. And we're doing it for 10 months plus the points. So while you do this, I elaborate on the difference between hard money and private. Or you want to take that, Leo?
Well, let's first, because I think there's some confusion here. Because most of the time, it's a percentage to purchase price, like 80% of purchase price and 100% of rehab.
Right. That's what I was waiting to hear.
Yeah. So you're not that way,
Yeah.
Rob, right?
Yes
Yeah.
and no. So we
Yes
break it
and
down.
no.
That's what I was going to ask Rob.
For our teachings here today,
Sure.
should
So
we?
we break it down, Leo, just so you know, it on a first time flipper, we're going to do 100% of the rehab budget and 75% of their cost. Does that help?
Okay. That's what I'm
Cost of purchase price you're talking.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we can see, there are various ways of, and it is very investor specific, property specific, and budget specific. So I'm just trying to come up with a number I can plug in right now so we can then compare it to Nick's numbers.
Do the 12% with 2 points.
I'm waiting for Rob. Do we have a number, Rob? So because if you go private, sometimes they don't charge you points, but the interest rates are higher. And then if
you're going to pay $15,000, a little bit more than $15,000 for your interest.
Okay.
Origination fee is going to be about $4,300.
Okay, so we'll put 20,000 in. So that's,
there you go.
That's close enough. Okay.
I had 19,921, but whatever. I'm a little off.
Okay.
$79, damn it, makes all the difference.
I put padding in all the way through.
Oh, yeah.
I always up on every single category. I up. Then I still put a contingency at the end.
What were you saying, Rob?
I said, call me anytime, Nick. I'll help you out. Yeah, I should point out too that in all fairness, right? So we base everything on risk, right? So the first time flipper, which is considered really more riskier, we're going to charge higher, right? So, but for our best guys, you know, everybody needs to know that we're at 1% and 7.5%. So it's pretty good.
That is actually pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, you guys should talk, and like I said, that's you know, I want just a rough number here. So did we all add it up? Plus 155, so we come to 399. Oh, I need to add 1,000 to have a round number. You see, that's how I, because you always have, but we're actually in it now for 400 for a regular investor. And minus 580, that was our ARV, right? In the beginning, actually, it was 560. So we know it sold for 600.
I don't think we knew that yet, but now
we didn't. Yeah, we didn't know that.
You
never
didn't
showed the sale price.
No, aren't you going over your number, your potential numbers, Lenska?
Yeah, now my potential. Back in the days, then we should put in 560 because that was our original
right.
ARV.
Yeah, let's stick with yours and then let's compare.
So, because this is also, sometimes you get saved by the market and have additional appreciation, like remember, so suddenly from 560, we had that 10% increase of ARV. So to be on the safe side, those were your numbers. And now, if you see this one, could you have offered more for the property and still got away with 100,000? Yeah. But this budget, you know, 150,000 burned house is still, for a beginner, it's still a solid number, but you know, that's why we have the pad. So now I have a blank sheet for you, Nick.
Cool.
So you tell us, and this is just for demonstration purposes, right? Because we're using this as a learning tool, just to give you a demonstration on how numbers look different from Leo to Bruce to me to Nick. So closing costs, what were the closing costs?
So I break closing costs down with just I'll give you the number. It's 5% overall, but the breakdown goes like this. Closing cost on the buying side is 1%. Closing cost on the selling side is 1%. That's for me internally, right?
So selling, that can't be, because you have escrow and title, which is a 1%, and but you don't have, you see, Nick's calculation is different. So just to cut to the bottom line, selling cost, because you have an in-house aid, doesn't cost you, but you still need to pay 2.5% buyer's commission.
That's right. So I'll give you the breakdown. It's basically my listing agent in-house is 0.5%. Right.
I never come work for you.
Yeah, those are good savings. Volume can pay. And then on the buyer side, we pay between 2 and 2.5%. So put 2.5% to be on the safe side. And then closing cost on the buy side is 1%, which is a little high for this just because it is such a low number. And on the selling side, it's 1%. And although that might seem a little low, you know, for specific, you know, just a $400 flat escrow fee can give you a good perspective, whereas most are probably closer to $1,000 to $1,500. Because of the volume we do, that's our costs are really low. So that equates to 5% for us. What's next?
Okay, so just give me numbers so I can fill them in. On the side, it was just $1,000.
On closing costs for is it the buying side?
Yeah.
Okay, so buying side one. Well, I've got a purchase price of 150, but we can keep it at 155.
Okay, no, let's then 1,000 then deducted from the, you know, you don't have a pad in here, so because you helped the with moving cost,
right?
So we can actually could put up that one to 15 to just 65. That includes the moving cost,
right?
So 1,000, and then financing cost, because obviously you're a genius. You only went in it for 6 months. So instead of 10 months, we have 6 months. And that's a
it was 8.
Yes, it was 6.
Yeah, for a beginner investor, I calculated 10 months.
Yeah.
When you
So
put
we got it done in 6 months, and my what is it? Financing costs is $5,000.
okay, so that's where I wanted to get it. So if you're experienced and you have different money sources, and maybe obviously if you have your own money, you're going to use it as well, right?
Right. That was and just to go ahead, Ray.
Well, you could put your money right underneath this so that you're also looking at, now, what did we get on our return? It can go here, or it can go over on profit, but
yeah,
either place, what's your return on this deal?
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So, and then the amazing construction budget, if you know the right contractors and you have good subs and you have been doing this for 10 years, what was Nick's magic number?
Are you asking everybody, or are you?
No, I'm just asking you.
So I will tell you, well, let me back up for a second. I had probably 7 to 10 other investors out there. And we always do that just because, you know, things change, right? And last minute, if I don't want to do the deal and I've got other deals in the hopper, then we can do that. So everybody's bids were between $150,000 to roughly $200,000. And, you know, this is a shameless plug, but if you've got the right coach and they've got the experience, you know, you can get the right contractors in there to do it for a lot less. So everyone was thinking 150 to 200. All said and done, I got it done for $100,000.
Wow.
So there alone,
wow,
$50,000 savings minimum. That's a house flip in itself. Call it 75 just to be on the average side between those numbers. And I will say I was pretty fueled because you know, I'm a competitive guy, and while we were out there, there was another investor or two that were. You know, it was just a gentleman's agreement bet. I just bet you can't do it, and that's all I need to hear. So, you know, I said,
yeah.
dude, this thing will get done in $100 grand. He goes, I bet it won't. I go, all right, well.
You see, this is why men are so bad when it comes to auctions.
Yeah, this is true. And you know what? I'll also tell you that we actually had a bid.
Sorry, I had to bring that up.
It's true.
Sorry, Lenska, we got cut off. What did you say? So, you know, we will tell you that we even got a bid lower than this, but that's not always the right bid to go with, right? And so, to Rob's point, the customer service, the relationship is really important. And one example is, you know, I had to close on this is a bigger deal, an apartment 14 unit that I bought. The purchase price was $2 million. I went to go use a different hard money lender that was cheaper. It didn't work out. I had a $75,000 non-refundable deposit in escrow. I called my guy. I called my regular guy with my relationship, and in 23 hours, he funded that $2 million loan. So, you know, something, you know, like I said, the price is not always the most important part. And obviously Lenska has done a good job with vetting out Rob. So, you know, it's really key to know who it is you're doing business with, because they could really make or break or lose your butt. So, okay, so there's financing costs, which is $5,000. That's low because we bought it for you know, $150,000. I did a 75% loan to value or loan to cost evaluation, or a loan limit on it. So we had low leverage. And then my rates are half of a point at 7%. And I didn't do any gap funding for, you know, the rest of the purchase or the renovation. I just put my own cash into it. So that made it really inexpensive there.
Okay, so yeah, excellent. And that's, you know, and that's the name. You put your cash to work, but then you can leverage hard money if you need to, if you get more deals. So
sure.
Like it. So holding costs, what were the holding costs? Because in case, obviously, holding costs are property tax unless they're paid. I mean, he did it in 6 months. There could be property tax, HOA, insurance, and utilities, and if you have a security system or something else. So what were your holding costs? I estimate about 3,000.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, it's right around there or a little less, just because the price is so lower. But I put 5,000 in just you know, beef it up, I agree with Ray. I always like to, you know, put some extra pad on it. So
Mhm.
These are your actuals, though.
it was a little less than 3,000.
Mm.
Just because property taxes, I mean, boy, on 100, 150.
Let's put 4 in it. I already can see the numbers
Okay.
rounding up. So, and now selling cost. I mean, here I would go selling cost. I need
Yeah, 2.5.
yeah, but 2.5. So when we talk 2.5, so first of all, that's on 600,000. That's your real estate commission.
Right.
It's 15,000, and then you have closing costs, which are escrow and all that. So that's another maybe 3,000.
Yeah. Again, I put 1% because we beefed it up on the purchase side. So
Yeah, but that was with the seller help.
yeah. Yeah. That's
So I'll put 15,000. It's not an exact science. I think
Sure.
we want to get
Totally.
to a point where 65 plus 6 plus 119. Okay, so we are at all cost at 290. About. So what do we have?
Well, if you take 600 minus 290, $310,000 profit
Okay.
in 6 months.
All right. I think everybody fell off the phone call of the Zoom chair now.
Yeah. They shut the internet down.
Yeah, I have to take I have to take a deep breath. So that's why I'm saying that problem houses can pay off big, but they can pay off big because you have a system in place. You know the right people, and your experience, and the market helped as well.
Totally. Yeah. And we also, one strategy that I like to do, and I'm sure it's in the history of the MLS, but I was really confident we could get that 600 number, but I'm pretty damn certain we listed it at 549 just to make a bidding war, right? So I've never liked over listing just because I don't want it to sit there. And
yes, you did.
Did I? Okay, good.
Yeah, and I'm going
glad I'm not making myself out to be a liar.
I am.
Yeah, so,
where did I introduce yourself? Here, I'm going to lift the veil right up here. You guys see it?
No. Yeah, there it is.
So the 549 was right there to create the bidding war.
549. So again, it just the people just pour in, and what else are you going to say other than what is the truth? We have multiple offers. The seller's very eager to get it done. Come in with your best top dollar offer, and let's not waste any time.
Now, were you able to get a copy of the appraisal report?
I'm sure we were, but I don't know.
Usually you have to request it from the buyer.
Yeah, you're right, because it's their possession. I don't know if we did or not. I know the listing agent. And you know what? I actually will tell you, I just remembered, we actually opened up escrow at $620,000. And quickly, the buyer was not telling the truth on some things. So they had that escalation clause in there that they were going to say, hey, we'll pay $10,000 higher or $20,000 higher than the highest offer. So we took their offer. We had aggressive terms with depositing their non-refundable deposit in escrow within 10 days or 5 days. And then when it came time for them to put their deposit in, it's worth the risk, So we didn't get the extra 20 grand, but we knew for sure, hey, our next couple of backup offers are exactly where we want them to be. So
yeah. So now you were telling us, Nick.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. So basically, go ahead. I was telling you, I do coaching, obviously, right? And so there's your pitch. We don't push it hard, and truth be told, I'm probably the worst salesman when it comes to it because I have more people come into my office and I reject them from coaching, only because we are looking for people that really want to learn the business. We're looking for someone that really wants to change their life, that's, you know, in a position in their life where they're just tired of their job, they're tired of their income, they're not making enough. And so, you know, if you are looking to invest, you know, in your education in someone that knows what they're doing, that has a good track record, you know, that can show you how to literally save an extra $50,000 to $75,000 on a fire burned house with contractors, then you know, I'd love to train and coach anyone that needs help with that. And our contact information is there, phone number, website, nickdavisonflips.com. We're also Nick Davison Flips on Instagram, on Facebook. It's the same title everywhere. So yeah, we'd love to chat with you guys if you have any interest in that.
Yeah, and I love your projects, and I've been to 2 or 3 of yours, so
I appreciate that.
yeah, and congratulations. And I just like to associate real people with real education in the real world, and not some canned stuff that they invented like 10 years ago and still playing the same old story, because the market changes, and Nick certainly has its ears on and boots on the ground. And I know Nick and we talked when this crisis came down, and I heard a little bit of a hesitation in his voice, and I said to Nick, no, my numbers show house prices are going up. And you know, and every investor at this point, I think, had a little bit of doubt, and I had doubt, and so we analyzed the numbers every week and stayed strong and moved forward and cut out all the noise in the narration, the narrative we have. So besides,
let me throw a compliment to you real quick, Lenska. And I do have a small company, and there's people in every position, but more times than not, Lenska actually knows my numbers better than I do. Case in point, she had an open house on one of my properties up in Escondido. She was running as she always does. She shows all the comps in the area. She does a really fantastic job of that. And she pulls out a property, and she goes, well, this guy here, whoever he is, he bought this house for a certain price and sold it. And damn, every one of these guys lost money, but this property made money. And it just so happened that was another property of mine in the same neighborhood. So Lenska, I always appreciate how thorough you are with your attention to detail on your numbers. You do a really damn good job at it. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. So we have 2 more classes, which is what we call wholetailing. We had a whole presentation on it last time, where it's a minimum fix, maybe even flipping it to an investor. So that's wholetailing. And then what is the 5th type? The biggest one, I would say right now, besides the problem houses, is obviously the money is in the zoning. So we can do a whole call on that one. But I just want to take one last poll where we say, how do you feel about the market? Will home prices go up next year? Will they increase, decrease, flat, crash? And will we see distressed inventory? So here's the last poll before we close it. I couldn't be better on time. I'm doing really good, and then we can, whoever wants to stay on, I will keep the lines open for a few minutes. And so I'm interested to obviously see what you guys feel, because we do have experienced investors on the call. And so we have, all right, increase, half of us, flat or crash, half of, or flat, I should say, half. And so one person think they will crash. Okay.
Can you share the results, Lenska?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
I get too excited when I see, you know. So here's the results. And so practically flat and increase. Okay, interesting. And will we see distressed inventory? Yes. And no is about 1/3, and nearly 2/3 say yes. So we can have stop sharing results. So I appreciate you guys staying long. And then don't forget, we have, you know, I serve on the board of SDCIA. It's $80 annual membership. It's a great club. We just started small group meetings so we can network better and address questions. And I'm not sure if I will get it all, but it's November 2nd. It's a day before the election, but it's after Halloween. But I know the market is going strong, but I have a little presentation planned for little charts of horrors, okay? And I'm collecting them as we go this week. So dial into our Zoom call Monday night money making. Like I said, our last call was 3 hours long. So you can find me on Meetup. You can find me on YouTube. Obviously at SDCIA, I have a real estate broker license. I sell and buy, help people buy and sell homes. So don't forget, it's great to be a matchmaker for investors, but I also like to have your, hopefully I earn your referrals with that. And please go on Google, and I just started. If you Google Lenska Realty, I need to improve my star rating and my digital resume. So please help me out and post a review. And with this one, I will stop the recording and appreciate everybody staying, and hopefully you learned something and you guys have a safe and healthy, I would say, months.